All right, so let's get back to the Super Bowl a little bit. Let's talk about, the two headliners. We got Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT versus the best player in the league. I know y'all are a little bit old school guys like myself. How do y'all feel about using the term GOAT to describe multiple people in the same industry? I hate it. There can only be one GOAT.
I hate it when they're talking about multiple people in the same industry. I hate when they're talking about, oh, well, he's the GOAT of the 90s and this guy's the GOAT of the 2000s. Kind of like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James kind of argument. No, greatest of all time means you're the greatest of all time, not the greatest of a specific decade. I don't know why people can't get that distinction through their heads, but it is what it is. What was that?
Participation trophies.
Yeah, that's our culture these days. But with football specifically, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, and until he's no longer the greatest of all time, you can't say like, oh well, Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT of this generation. It's either you're the GOAT or you're not.
Right. I've heard a lot of people say that Tom Brady may be the GOAT, but Patrick Mahomes is more talented. I think that's yet to be determined. I mean, yeah, he's doing great right now. He's won an MVP, Super Bowl MVP. His career is not over. Some crazy thing might happen to him and he just completely falls off. He's got to play till he's 43 years old and win 6 Super Bowls to be more talented than Tom Brady, in my opinion.
I will say if he would have to, that would get me into the more accolades, because if we're looking at just talent, like throwing ability, mobility, and stuff like that, I think Mahomes has more raw talent. But there are a lot of quarterbacks who have more raw talent than Tom Brady. What Tom Brady has done is maximize his talent for a longer period than anybody else. Like he's been a top quarterback in the league since, let's just say, around about 04, 05-ish, if my memory serves me correctly. And outside of his last 2 years in New England, it's been fucking amazing. Like 13, 14 years of just pure dominance. Absolutely. But I think that if Mahomes can continue at the rate that he's at, and it's going to be weird though, because generationally we're throwing the ball more, so he's going to have more. If he plays, I say 15, 17 years, he will have better numbers than Tom Brady, but I don't know if he will have the winning. I don't know if he'll have the culture behind him that Brady had, because I love Patrick Mahomes, but I think Patrick Mahomes is just like the 18 Warriors. It's not only do you have this great talent together, it's also the perfect fit of talent that creates mismatches that aren't normal in the game, because Tyreek Hill is not Tyreek Hill if he has a noodle arm quarterback. It works because he has a quarterback with a cannon. Patrick gets to use his cannon because he has Tyreek, who's the fastest person in the league. Then he has Kelsey underneath, and he has Sammy Watkins, and he has Robinson, and so on and so forth,
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. I've long said, take Patrick Mahomes and stick him on the Lions, stick him on the Jets, and then tell me what kind of quarterback you have. Do you have the baby goat there? I don't think so.
I think you have Justin Herbert.
Yeah, exactly.
A good quarterback. You have Phillip Rivers, a good quarterback on a bad team. That's all you have. You hit the nail on the head. It's a perfect storm for him in Kansas City.
Imagine what Russell Wilson could do on the Chiefs offense. They'd be unstoppable.
Imagine what Russell Wilson could do if he had some personality and he had an offensive coordinator with a pulse. I'm not a Russell Wilson guy as personality. I think he's a great quarterback. But I said, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, Russ can't cook. He can't cook.
He's in there making Kraft mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Yeah. He's super, super talented, man. But he's missing something, and I don't know what it is.
I get what you're saying. He doesn't have much of a personality. He seems like just a come to work 9 to 5, shut up and do your job kind of guy. And I mean, that works for him, I guess. But I get what you're saying. He's missing some spice.
Now, Zach had Mr. Unlimited on his fantasy squad this year, and the first 5 weeks of the season, he was talking all about Russ cooking. We even threw him in the early MVP conversation.
Oh yeah,
but at this point, the fact still remains: Russell Wilson has never ever received an MVP vote, and it's for a good reason. He can't close.
Yeah.
He has a few good games here and there. He happened to have a couple of them at the beginning of the season that were strung together, but it doesn't last long.
Can we talk about how that was another fake BS narrative by the mainstream media? I love to say mainstream media. But,
the MSM.
Yeah, right. Russell Wilson's never received the MVP vote. Yeah, because you only get one vote for one person, and he has not ever been the MVP of the league.
Nope.
That's why. If you look at who won the MVP each of those seasons, he was never better than those people at that time. Now, has he been better than most of those people over the course of time? Yes. But in that one season, absolutely not. But we got Baby Goat versus the Goat. And I heard that, I think it was Stephen A. Smith, maybe Max Kellerman, one of those two. It was a clip. I don't watch that show. It's garbage. But they talked about how if Mahomes doesn't win this game, he could never pass Brady in the GOAT conversation. I disagree, but I'm going to defer to you all on this one. What you got, Zach?
I mean, I don't know. Who was the GOAT before Tom Brady? I would assume they never really played each other. You know, LeBron never played Jordan, so that's kind of a weird point. I think the point. Sure, yeah, absolutely. And for some reason, Kobe's never in the GOAT conversation, but that's a whole nother show. I think the point to be made here is that if Tom wins, Tom is not done. Tom is not over. There is no, oh, you're the GOAT now. I'm going to retire. You beat me. If he wins, there's still a conversation to be had. It doesn't mean that Mahomes is now better than him or whatever. I just think that means that Tom has still got it. He's still going to keep playing.
I think the way that the mainstream media is painting the picture of this Super Bowl is that it's the passing of the torch. And they're trying to make it seem like that if Patrick Mahomes doesn't beat Tom Brady in this passing of the torch game, then there's no way that he can ever ascend to the mountaintops to be the GOAT of NFL or whatever. And, that very well may be true, that him losing to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl could be a downward spiral for his career. Look at the Atlanta Falcons, for example. But
Austin did it, man.
I always have to remind him of that 28-3.
Anyway, he's ever forgotten.
I'm so happy we weren't working together at that time because I probably would have left. I would have left. Or I would have sent you home.
Yeah, that's fine. But anyway, if the passing of the torch doesn't actually happen, then like Zach said, I think Tom Brady just proves that he's still got it. He's already saying before the game that he thinks he can play until 45 and beyond. That's it's a lofty statement. Let's focus on one game at a time at this point in your career, fella. But he's already looking ahead to playing another 2 more seasons. If that's the case, with this roster they have, they could be back in this game again next year. It's not inconceivable that they could be back in the Super Bowl once again. So if Mahomes doesn't get the dub here, he's still got the rest of his career. As long as he doesn't, take one of those horrific Joe Theismann type injuries to where he's out for a long time. Not everybody's going to be Alex Smith and be able to bounce back from something like that. And
God, I wish he'd retire.
It was brutal. Comeback player of the year, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really broke my heart that he got the opportunity to play because I had bet on Ben, and I was like, it's looking good for Ben. And then we got Alex Smith coming back, and that bet went right down the dumpster with many of my other bets. But I think that this game does nothing for the GOAT conversation. If we're being honest, it changes absolutely nothing. When Patrick Mahomes wins, all right, man. Yeah, you've won 2 Super Bowls in your first 3 years in the league. Good job. Now keep playing. Or Brady, he wins. Oh yeah, you were already head and shoulders above everyone else. Now you just grew your hair out. You know what I mean? Like
the thing is if Brady wins this game, if the Bucs win this game, Tom Brady would have 7 rings to his own credit. That's more than any other NFL franchise.
It's insane.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to witness greatness, and as much as I hate Tom Brady, it's only because of what he did to me in the year that I thought we were going to win a title.
And should have.
Yeah, and that's why Dan Quinn's finally gone, and I wish we would get rid of Rich McKay, get him out of the front office, but conversation for another day.